Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. I am Empress Olu, and um, today's video is about what happens to when dating narcissists and the effects of that. Right now, again, everything that I post and videos that I talk about is based on my life experiences or stories that I've observed from lives of people that I've been blessed to observe. Um, I can say I have attracted different forms of narcissists through my dating life, um, from my early 20s to this point. And I've learned a lot. It is a painful journey to consistently be in this game or loop with another being when all you're seeking is to get and receive the love that you offer so freely, right? And give me a second, let me turn this song down. And I'm still learning a lot of the terminologies and things, but I know a lot. Um, and I can say right off the bat, I do witness what my mistake was as to how I ended up in very long term and life changing scenarios with people that would most likely, I'm not diagnosing them myself, but um, have had a clinician evaluate them. Uh, they would probably qualify as clinical, narcissist. Um, the first one I ever encountered, um, and I have to note something important too. I know this is, I guess I might have to actually change the title of this video. Narcissism in open lifestyle cultures. I will say I didn't start encountering um, like so many narcissists until I entered into the polyamory, open lifestyle culture. Um, I'm noticing the community is littered with many of them, male and female. Um, but the first one I interacted with was very grandiose, and him and his partner at the time were very um, were into the open lifestyle, open dating and whatnot, open marriage. This was in my younger 20 days. Just exploring love, the different facets of it, coming pure and open, just wanted to love. No, that's me. That's what I'm wanting to do. And um, what ended up happening, he was very grandiose. He was very grandiose with his ideas and promises and so forth. And then after a while of dating the couple, I saw how um, toxic and life sucking he became for both his wife and me, and very dangerous. He something again I'm noticing, and this is a pattern that I've noticed with multiple partners in the poly lifestyle, is the triangulating. They triangulate the women against each other, especially the ones where they say they're polyamory, then they switch to being polygamous, so they don't want the women to date other men. Um, but they lure in those women, and but then they start triangulating, which is pretty much pitting the women against each other for whatever ego boost they're seeking to receive from that. I've been crying, so excuse the messy face, naps and crying. Um, uh, but this is something that I'm noticing as a pattern. Also, too, so I noticed the triangulating. The first one was very grandiose, um, and then uh, the next one, and these were years later. I the next one was actually my someone I married, and he was not polygamous, so he said, but he ended up still cheating. Infidelity still ensued, and he was the stonewaller. Um, just discard silently and say nothing. And then I ran into another grandiose one, but then he was definitely violent and toxic. I think he was the worst of all of the narcissists that I ran into. He had all of it, from covert to very aggressive to passive aggressive to violent, just on every level. He gets the nickname the Destroyer, because every every female that I learned his history, that he interacted with, every single woman, he aimed to destroy her. He aimed and most of the time was successful in destroying her. There were very few women that that I interacted with that he knew that were thriving and healthy after interacting with him. Many were still trying to heal or still had an unhealthy attachment to him, which was even affecting their current relationships. But that is one of the extents that things go to with dealing with narcissists. Um, Another point, and then this last one I just recently am mourning right now, is how definitely covert it was. It took a lot longer for me to recognize the signs, because there's a variety. There's a big scale of what how a narcissist can show themselves, right? And a pattern that I notice is the gaslighting and the discarding. And I didn't even take notes for this because I've been doing a lot of studying, but it's just something that I really just had to pour out and speak about, just in a raw form. Um, it affects your mental when you consistently attract narcissists. It affects your mental state of being, because one of the great things about the gaslighting is the mind games, right? That's what it is, anyways. Everyone sees the sky is blue, they tell you it's purple, and they will look at you crazy because you don't agree about it being purple. um, but that is something I know it's a trend across the board, and it will mess with your mental. And then I also had to come to a realization of what was narcissistic within me, because I personally observed that you are what you attract. You must be on some type of vibration. You have to be on the same vibration to attract such things. And I had to do some self evaluate and realize that I was, I guess, a victim narcissist a bit. I had the traits a bit, in terms of thinking that I ego had the ability and the right to love someone into being a better them. That it was I had the responsibility and the power and to change someone or to heal them into being a better person. And that is very egotistical. And I realize maybe pretty narcissistic because someone should want to already do that for themselves. There's no amount of love you can give anyone to become a better person. That should be something that they have within themselves. And I mean, first, I think for a lot of young girls that grew up like me, we just desired and craved um, just purity, just pure love. I'm coming to you bearing myself. I'm attracted to you. We have goals in life. Let's build them together. Let's be friends. Let's be lovers and build them together. And I think it's that simple. I don't think it's so complicated. Um, Even just choosing to commit, I don't think that's complicated. But what I that being empathic like that, being so sensitive like that, I do realize that that has made me a target for the vampires or spiritual vampires, but narcissists who thrive on people who are so open and willing to serve. And it's all about them. It's all about their mind and being right and their ego and making sure they look like, you know, the saint. And once you don't give them what they want, then there's this discard and then there's the games. And it's so exhausting and it's such a waste of living a beautiful life. It's such a waste. It's sad. I actually feel, and that's part of what keeps getting me into this, right? The feeling so so sad for them, so empathetic to the true pain that they're truly feeling within the inadequacy. And I think that's another thing I'm realizing, I guess, um, that has attracted me to the narcissist. Anyone with low self esteem, right? Or not having confidence within themselves. Because most narcs, that's the truth. Inside themselves, they really know that or feel that they are unworthy. So they go from the shadow place of wickedness to get what they want to. They go lower chakras, entitlement to obtain, um, and they go from the outside world to obtain what they feel can fulfill them within versus an empath or someone who is in a spiritually healthy space. They come from within. They sit and go to source from within and appreciate that and feel that void. And it's not even a feeling of the void, it's understanding that you are the fountain. Connecting to source, you become the fountain. But when you're so far from source, you are in the space of the void, right? So that's what happens, and that's the difference. And most of the time, as an empath, you're pulling from you're the fountain. You're giving the light. So of course, it's going to attract people with the void. And what happens is then the tables turned when you're being pulled from too much too fast. It's unreciprocal. It's like asking a fruit tree to continue to keep yielding you fruits, but you're barely watering it. How does that work? Less and less fruits till it dies, right? if you're donating blood, they keep donating, you keep donating, you keep donating, and you're not filling yourself up. You're not getting more water. You're not getting back nutrients. You're gonna dry. You're gonna die. You know. So it's that case and matter, and I think most people get that concept. But it's like, wow, it's so painful, and I will say I've appreciated the journey, and I hope my story can help someone out here. I hope it helps you. I hope you get some type of um, informative information. But my biggest thing that I do want to bring light to is the fact of, I understand it's getting popular now, the open lifestyle, polyamory, non monogamy, all of these things. But what I'm witnessing from a lot of people, or more of the, again, this is my experience, the male side, because most of the females that I've interacted tend to be more ethical and a little bit more by the rules when it comes to, and they are usually way more emotionally mature. Um, but the males that I've ran into, and I can only speak for black community to say right now, in terms of dating, most of them are, it's about ego and seeking to get validation through external um, manipulative actions and behaviors. Let it be they're homosexual, which which is, having sexual relations just to have a place to stay, or they're the fuck boy where is sexual favors just to continue to get accolades, so they have to add woman after woman after woman. It's just there's a lot, and it's so sad and unhealthy. And I I just want y'all to take a look at the signs. The moment you express your feelings and it's met with a denial of that's not how you feel, or you're tripping, and it's not met with understanding of just even listening and hearing you out, and met with embrace of, I hear you, let me hold you. But it's met with abrasiveness of denial and um, shutdowns, cutting you off. Run for the hills, because it's not going to stop and it's not going to get any better. And the more you allow them to do it, to break you down, the better of a source you become to them until they find a new source. But you don't want to end up depleted in the end for that. Um, I was at one point asking why me. Um, I blamed it on my background of not having a male intimately raise me. But y'all, at some point we can't keep using that excuse. I know it does matter a lot. It builds us. How we're raised creates our love attachment and styles. But I've come to a place of taking um, accountability. I feel like in adulthood, you have to get to a point where you take accountability, right? And I take accountability for me being overly optimistic. That's just a fatal mistake of falling in love with potential. You do not do that. Ladies, you do not do that. Men don't do that. You do not fall in love with potential. Well, there is a possibility of. That is a mistake. And you will waste your youth. You will waste your youth believing that a man comes with action. They show and prove. So if you don't have no actual physical evidence, like, oh, he brought you a ring, oh, y'all signing the deed together. Don't believe any dreams that you were sold. Again, because it's the selling of the dream, the charming you, that they're able to continue to siphon your energy and take your beauty and your health. Another thing that's a huge sign is when you start neglecting yourself for them. You notice they have way more shit than you. His cologne collection is bigger than your perfume collection. His sneaker collection is bigger than your dress collection. Like, yo, pay attention. You're doing most of the complimenting. You get one compliment compared to the 20 you give. And even that usually has some type of undertone of condescending criticism. I would not say that women who get involved, or even men who get involved with women like this, don't have self love, but it's having more confidence in ourselves, having more confidence in our right to be loved and respected and honored the way we can empathically feel, honor, and respect another. Stop making excuses. I've made excuses. I've made excuses. And and I'm also a mother, I cannot allow my children to become victims of that, because narcissistic partners are narcissistic parents. And we already are seeing how the world is being with how people are loving because of how they were parented. And we can only break the cycle by actually putting our boundaries and keeping our boundaries in the space of action. Not talking about it, but acting on it. So that means the moment you're being criticized, that means to stop listening to the shit. Excuse my language. Not, yeah, whatever. But that's what it is. The minute you're being triangulated with another partner, friend, whoever they're choosing to use as a flying monkey or scapegoat to gaslight you, you start removing those people from your space and being, and just stop communication, because there's no winning with them. For them, it's always you surrender to me or receive torture. And the only way that won't happen is you just choose to move on um, and live your life. My sympathy for anyone who's dealt with relationships with narcissists. I know it's exhausting. I know it breaks and chips at one's spirit every time, even just one time. Uh, I guess thank goodness I'm not normal. Um, oh, baby's awake. Nap time over. But like, share, subscribe, leave comments below. Follow me on Instagram. Um, yeah, it's so sad, but we're gonna love and we're gonna keep the faith out here. We're not gonna let them keep us down. All right. Peace, love, and divine light.